The beauty of sports is the passion behind it. Each team giving it their all, trying to be better than their opponent, leaving it all on the field. That's how rivalries are born. In the USL Championship, one of the marquee matchups has been El Paso Locomotive FC and New Mexico United, separated by 267 miles, El Paso and Albuquerque. Both expansion franchises in 2019, and a ton of success for both clubs, loyal supporters on each side. In 5 seasons, we've seen goals at the death, big wins, and plenty of celebrations. Tonight, these two teams meet yet again, writing the next chapter of this rivalry, one where the heat on the pitch is routinely matched by the heat in the air. It's El Paso Locomotive FC versus New Mexico United in the Derby del Camino Real.
What a beautiful but hot summer night in downtown El Paso. A big matchup tonight, Locomotive FC versus New Mexico United, in a matchup that will surely provide us with a ton of action. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast booth. Colin Deaver here with you alongside Duke Keith. Wonderful opening to the match tonight. Sir Duke, you've been on the broadcast for a long time, 5 years in fact. What sticks out to you most about this rivalry?
Well, it's like we talked about at the top. Both are Southwestern teams, both when they came into the league in 2019, immediate rivalries because of Albuquerque and El Paso, and both right into that rivalry too. It's been must-see in terms of USL Championship action. And I don't think this year's going to be any different. Obviously, that first season in Mexico United, great success in the Open Cup. Locomotive FC making it all the way to the Western Conference Finals that year.
And then 2020 happened. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and that forced a lot of things into action. El Paso ended up hosting New Mexico United 5 times that season with the league's group play format and COVID restrictions in the state of New Mexico. Both of these teams became real familiar with each other, again, helping to build that rivalry, even playing a playoff game here. Coming into tonight, El Paso leads the series with a record of 4-3 and 7 draws in all competitions, but historically this has been a tough matchup for Los Locos, especially when they go up to Albuquerque. It was just last season that they picked up their first win on the road, and most recently a 1-0 result on June 3rd.
Yeah, you see those 7 draws. That June win, part of a 12-match unbeaten streak, now longest ever for Locomotive FC. Atop the table 6 weeks in a row, #1 team in the league power rankings. It was an off week, so no movement in the standings for them. For United, a bit of a different story this season. Currently toward the bottom of the standings, but looking to get on a run with new coach Eric Quill and hopefully build some momentum after a 2-win home win last Saturday.
And no doubt a solid performance by New Mexico against Colorado Springs. A bicycle kick goal for Armando Moreno, making it onto SportsCenter's top 10 plays. A good possession game. They created some good chances as well. And keep in mind that Zach Prince was still head coach for United when Locomotive FC won that most recent game last month. There will be some differences in philosophy with Eric Quill. He has his team playing hard, something Locomotive has noticed. And of course, it's a rivalry, so not a team El Paso will be taking lightly regardless of the standings.
I think all those players over there are finding extra motivation in a new coach. You know, players that might not be playing might get their opportunity, or you know, you got to prove yourself. So I know they're gonna have new strategies or whatever. So we just have to, I think, mainly focus on ourselves and then just look forward to that.
The Locos are ready, and so is New Mexico United. And of course, Eighth Notch, well-fueled and always ready. We're all set for another installment of the Derby del Camino Real. Starting lineups next.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso. Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive, technical director Brian Clarehouse.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, you know, to celebrate W's.
Welcome everybody to downtown El Paso. It is a very warm summer's evening here in El Paso for the Derby del Camino Real as we check the starting lineups. First for Locomotive FC, Duke Keith along with Colin Deaver. Not really a whole lot in terms of a change, although Ricardo Zacarias does make it back into the starting lineup, Colin.
It hasn't scored since early in the season. Maybe this is the time for Ricardo Zacarias playing against the team from his home state, a Las Cruces native. Will he have something to show New Mexico United as Locomotive goes with the two-striker approach tonight? For New Mexico United, no Josh Suggs, no Chris Weehan, who has been lights out versus Locomotive FC over the history of this rivalry. And missing a few other names. Dolling, their leading assist man, but they still have plenty of firepower under new coach Eric Quill. Yeah, they still have Amando Moreno and Sergio Rivas, their two leading scorers, both with 4 goals on the season. Justin Portillo has been awesome this year as well for them, and we're set for another fantastic Derby del Camino Real. Will the action on the pitch match the heat in the air? It's the Derby del Camino Real underway here in El Paso, Texas. Vince Pavkovic. Revelation a bit this season, Eric McHugh. Will be through the legs of Zacarias in New Mexico United, ready to take over. For Eric Quill, New Mexico United coming out in basically 3 different formations in each of the 3 matches he's been in charge. So what wrinkle will they have for Brian Clairot and his staff tonight? They're looking for something that works. They finally found something that worked last Saturday at home against Colorado Springs, a 2-1 victory to help them kind of get on the board with the Quill era. Very interesting the last month or so for New Mexico United. Obviously, Zach Prince leaving for an assistant's job with Troy Lesane, the former United coach at New York Red Bulls. That came after the game versus Locomotive the last time up in Albuquerque. So Eric Quill having to kind of do things on the fly, Duke. Santi Moar whistled for the foul. Quick restart by Pavkovic. Nobody in blue on the other end of that. And it'll be a United throw. Our referees tonight. In the middle, Elton Garcia, Ben Rigel, Salma Perez are your assistant referees, and the 4th official is Marcelo Soto. Foul on the other end. Expect a little bit of that. These matches tend to be tough, and it was funny. I got the opportunity to speak with our friends with Seriously Loco this last week. When they put on the shirts, whether it's New Mexico yellow or El Paso blue, something comes over these players. They recognize the rivalry. And we are expected to have one of, if not the largest crowd ever for a Locomotive FC match. Certainly the players feel that on the pitch. And a turnover. Zacarias pings around, but it pings right to Kostishin. Kostishin gets the deflection. Yearwood gets a piece of that. It'll fall to Liam Rose. And a diving header up and over. Zacarias, no foul. Yearwood springing for that. And then we'll have an injury timeout very quickly to take a look at Austin Yearwood. Over the top of Zacarias, flying for that ball. And as we said, the intensity is there. 41 yellow cards, 2 straight red cards for El Paso Locomotive in 5 years of matches with New Mexico United. United, 33 yellows, 2 reds, including one for Santi Moar, who's playing in this match tonight. That came back in 2019. So they live up to the name of this rivalry, no doubt about that. It's always heated, fantastic soccer to watch. It's funny. Santi Moar and, of course, Yuma, who is out with injury for an extended absence. That'll be a foul. And then Borelli taken down by Daniel Bruce. A couple of Spaniards, and they happen to be the first dudes red-carded in this entire series. Guys who've played all over the world. But they put on these jerseys, and all of a sudden things get a little different. 2 Spaniards acting, what was it, Duke? Brand new. Ah, Duke learned a new phrase this week, folks. Yeah. Just trying to stay jiggy with it, Colin. Is that still a thing? Will Smith is around. Getting kicked out of awards ceremony, so yeah, I think so. Sure. That's solid work on the left wing for Greg Hurst. Earns the throw-in off of Rose. And we'll leave off now for Yearwood. Trying to go up and over. Sam Hamilton, where's the C?
Captain's armband tonight for United. Working around on the right side. Harry Swartz. Patient with the ball, United. Looking for Bruce. Good intervention by McHugh, allows Benny Diaz to gather.
That possession game, something United has wanted to do a little bit more of. They won it 52% to 48% in that matchup versus Locomotive back on June 3rd in Albuquerque. But it was Locomotive that was really kind of the aggressor. 16 shots on goal to just 16 shots total to just 5 for New Mexico United in that first match.
New Mexico turns El Paso over again. Moreno, though, cannot handle it. Let's take a look at our Casa Ford keys to the game. What are we looking for tonight, Colin?
Well, it's just what I just talked about for New Mexico United, the possession game. They won it last match on June 3rd. Expect a little bit more of that tonight with a bit more of an attack. Eric Quill wants his team to create the first chance of the game, so maybe expect some more forward runs. Then Dennis Castician with the service. Justin Portillo and the midfielders are good at setting up their forwards in dangerous position. Look for El Paso's back line to stay disciplined and continue building off those dominant performances that we have seen from them at home. And finally, just be relentless. El Paso won't always have possession, but what they do with it will matter. They again 16 shots in Albuquerque, and those shots eventually turned into a game winner for Dennis Castician in the second half. This could be a tight defensive battle. El Paso has shown, though, they can make something happen when there's little there.
Here's McHugh, long over the top, looking for Lucho. Lucho contending and will be whistled for the foul. Offside flag was up. We'll welcome in the third member of our team now, Rachel Phillips, down pitch side on a warm summer's evening. And Rachel, Eric Calvillo talking about this rivalry, saying that New Mexico United might have a little pep in their step coming into this evening's match.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Duke. It is rivalry night, and you can feel the intensity here at Southwest University Park. But this one, a little different to games past. New Mexico United coming in to its fourth game now with their new head coach and still just trying to find some traction with him. Right now, they're sitting second last in the Western Conference standings. But for the Locos, well, it's much of the same. They're trying to continue that form that they've been producing and try and continue on a 13-game unbeaten streak. For them, it's all about the intensity. Eric Calvillo has been saying it all season long. It's a warrior mentality. During the week, he said, quote, "It's just about that winning feeling and not losing so much like we did last year. That's the difference of not wanting to lose so much, that we are willing to do what we have to come out with a draw or win." And I think the boys are just up for the fight. And when he was talking about goals and assists for the season, right now he has 0 goals compared to 6 last season. He said, looks, he really doesn't care. What he wants is to contribute to this team. And if that means no goals and they win a championship, well, then he's very much happy with that. A very selfless attitude from Eric Calvillo, and that's really what you can say about every single member of this Locos team.
You can't deny the unbeaten streak that continues here, Colin.
Well, it's been fantastic to watch. Again, we sat here in the booth those first 3 games of March, 3 losses in 7 days, wondering if this might be a repeat of the 2022 campaign. Brian Clarehout and company have been able to turn things around, and it's been thanks to guys like Eric Calvillo, who Rachel just talked about, being willing to take on different roles than they had last year. Again, more of an attacking role for Eric Calvillo last year, but this year completely different, more defensive in that double pivot role, and it's paid dividends for Locomotive in this 12-match unbeaten.
We'll get it loose to Borelli. Apologies. Loose on that left wing. That's exactly the look they wanted. Borelli loves to serve those up on a platter, and that'll be a foul whistled as Moreno takes down McHugh. Eric McHugh, first season back in the United States, Swedish-American binational. And his young years, don't let that fool you, because here's a guy who's been very heady since having to fill in for Yuma.
Yeah, of course, Yuma been out with a meniscus injury in his knee the last 5 or 6 matches, and you wouldn't know that they've even missed one of the greatest players in franchise history based on how Eric McHugh has played throughout this run. Made the USL Team of the Week back-to-back weeks a couple weeks ago, so been fantastic for them alongside Bence Pakovic.
Great switch. Kostashin Zacarias. Calvillo. Borelli to a space. Zacarias with a touch, but well fronted by Sam Hamilton. United will escort that out. Ricardo Zacarias. He and Josh Suggs both hailing from the city of Crosses. That's a wide open switch, and doing well just to put a foot to that was Navarro. Lucho Solignac recognizing what would happen if Moreno picked up possession there. Roll it into touch.
Now, a little unfortunate we won't get to see Josh Suggs play tonight again. Like you said, a Las Cruces native, Humboldt State graduate. Been a part of so many of these matches over the 5 years of these clubs.
It's a good switch by Bruce. Moar. Back and forth. Well tended to. Both Liam Rose, Benson Pavkovic, making sure it falls harmlessly to Benny Diaz. But you get an idea trying that give and go. And of course, Moar pretty much held in check June 3rd up in Albuquerque. He's certainly the danger man on that wing for United.
Hasn't had the season that I think he was hoping to have in his return to New Mexico United. Obviously was with them in their inaugural season, had 11 goals that year, had 20 the last 3 years with Phoenix Rising, just 1 goal this season for New Mexico United, and they really need him to take on a bigger role with this attack if they're going to turn things around from their current 11th place standing in the Western Conference.
Serving it in, Moar. Didn't get the angle on that he wanted. Diaz collects as we head to the 12th minute. Certainly, El Paso having given up early goals, a concerning trend that seems to be dealt with by Brian Clairhout and his coaching staff and by the team on the pitch. Things pretty much a stalemate so far, and New Mexico United has had pretty decent possession, but Locomotive has handled their business.
And we've talked a lot in recent weeks just about the fortitude that Locomotive has had when they fall behind, but certainly they would prefer not to do that.
Great turn by Aaron Gomez. Spin Sam Hamilton. Gomez. Last-ditch intervention by Kalen Ryden as Gomez lined up that shot with the left foot. And it'll go out for the first corner of the afternoon or evening. Still feels like afternoon.
Certainly with the heat it does. Ryden leads the team in clearances, making a important tackle right there, but that turn from Aaron Gomez to set all this up was the stuff of brilliance.
And so it'll be the Ukrainian, Denis Gostishin, on the corner. Near post. Get out of trouble by Ryden, but not completely out. Zacarias can't make contact with the header. Lucho. Nifty work, but Austin Yearwood gets a piece, and it'll go in touch for a Mark Navarro throw. Lucho, some nifty moves in tight spaces.
Not normally what we're used to seeing from him, but he can do it all. 8 goals on the season already for Lucho. That's the second most in USL.
They want the cross to Borelli. They get the cross to Borelli, looking for a handball. It'll fall back to the man from Monterrey. Eder Borelli. Gomez will work it out of trouble to keep possession. Pavkovic is up. McHugh, and a good extended spell of possession now for Locomotive. Rose, Zacarias. Here's Calvillo, the El Salvador international. Another switch to Borelli. They've been giving him some space. Of course, Borelli, the assist to Gostishin, who tried a quick thread through to Lucho. It didn't work out.
Saw United try a little 1-2 with Moat a couple minutes ago. Locomotive attempting a similar effort there with Lucho Solignac.
Gomez will be whistled for the late foul. Taking down Swartz.
Gomez with his fair share of yellow cards in this rivalry over the years?
El Paso's discipline, of course, I think it paced the league in the early going with yellows. 36 yellow cards. Things have slowed down a little bit. Actually, 40 yellow cards and 0 reds, 3 reds for New Mexico United this season. Out to Aron Gomez. Very pleased to be welcoming Locomotive General Manager Andrew Forrest here with us today. Great to have you, and we'll make sure that you're on. Andrew, how are things going? Are you sweating?
I am literally sweating and maybe figuratively sweating. This is a rivalry match, and it's a big one. This is a big game for us.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you up in the booth with us, and I know that these are teams that are very similar. You guys, and I know you know a bunch of the folks with the New Mexico United organization. These two teams starting up here in the Southwest, you've been able to bring something very special here to El Paso and Albuquerque.
Yeah, this is one of the best rivalries in the league. I think we started in the same year in 2019, and both teams have had varying degrees of success over the years. They've had they had an unbelievable Open Cup run early in their existence. We've been to conference finals for our first 2 years, and are having a really good year this year. They're a little bit down maybe, but in a rivalry game, it doesn't matter. All that stuff goes out the window. They could just as easily take 3 points here as we can.
There have been so many awesome moments, 5 years of this rivalry. For both sides, they won the first game up in Albuquerque, I think 3-0. You guys in 2020 win the playoff game in overtime. Every, I think, Locomotive fan and United fan probably remembers Matt Boehner's tarps off moment. What has been your favorite moment?
I think one of my favorite moments was I believe it was a tie in our first year when Yuma did what Yuma does and got sent off along with Josh, I believe Suggs.
It was Moad, actually.
Was it? And I think Kiesewetter had 2 goals, and it was right here at midfield where they had squared up and were nose to nose. And you don't want to see any fighting, but you can. The passion from both teams was there from the beginning, and us being so close in proximity, this is a delightful rivalry that I assume will produce some memorable moments again tonight.
So far, so good. I think we've seen our fair share of fouls in the early going. Both teams kind of feeling each other out a little bit. What does the future hold? I mean, for both of these teams, obviously, you guys are very similar in lots of respects. You both play in baseball stadiums. You both kind of are capturing the passion of soccer here in the southwestern United States. It's interesting to look forward to the trajectory of both of these clubs as they continue to make strides.
Yeah, I think both of these teams have huge aspirations to be big clubs in the U.S. soccer landscape, regardless of division. And I think in smaller markets like Albuquerque and like El Paso, maybe we're not as big as Chicago or Houston or some of these other places, but that doesn't mean the passion's not the same, and there aren't people that want to consume soccer at a high level. And I believe both of these cities represent that, and that's reflective in their attendance is out of this world, one of the top 1 or 2 in the league, and then we're right there at 5 or 6. And tonight we have an unbelievable, potentially record crowd tonight. We'll see when all is said and done, but I think that just shows the passion for soccer in this area.
Obviously, this is take you back to the last offseason, 2 off seasons in a row. You had to make a new hire for a new head coach. The early returns on Brian Clairhout obviously have been very good. 12-match unbeaten streak. What maybe stuck out to him in that hiring process? And did you just see a little bit of what we're seeing on the field now as a possibility when you hired him?
Yeah, I'll answer. Let's see what happens here.
All right.
I'm into it too, guys.
Justin Portillo tries to take a shot. It'll be out for a United throw.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think both teams are looking for some consistency in coaching. This is our 3rd coach in 3 years. Obviously, not something that we were forecasting or saw happening in the Magic Ball, and I imagine New Mexico's the same. But I think both of these coaches are well respected. Brian Clairhout has been exceeded expectation. When you do these processes, it happens all very quickly, and you just hope that you try to find out, are they good tactically, but are they a good person? Are they gonna? You trying to learn that as much as possible. And I think Brian, having a young family and having the experience in Europe was something that was very interesting to us. And trying to go out and find guys that maybe aren't in the ecosystem. Same thing with John Hutchinson to some degree. Had some big coaching stints. Here's Aaron is in.
Over the top to Aaron Gomez. Long ball out of the back. That's been one of the things about Brian Claerhout. Not afraid to be direct. Borelli. We'll see how things go. Lucho with a switch to McHugh. That'll roll into space for United. The other part about this, I think, to me, is both of these teams being very invested in developing their youth academies, both New Mexico United and El Paso Locomotive. As Benedias recognized the danger from Bruce, decides to intervene. And both have had great success at the academy level. And we talked about earlier this week, the 5 young men who signed college scholarships, the 10 last year, 15 in the last 2 seasons for Ivan Militar and the revamped Locomotive Academy. You have got, as we take a look at video from today's game,
yes,
you've got to be very, very proud of what you've been able to accomplish on the youth academy side.
Yeah, again, I think both groups are doing very well on the development side, where we maybe have a more robust vertical. They have one team that's very good. Their U20s are extremely good, and they have a League Two team that I believe is quite good. We have 8 academy teams and 22, 23 club teams that play. So it's a different philosophy, but both groups are producing good players. We had signed 2 of our academy kids, Joel and Abarca, to full-time deals as professional soccer players for this year. So it's working, and they've done the same thing. I believe Christian Nava is hurt this year, tore his ACL if I'm not mistaken, but he's one of their products, and he was having a real nice start to a career. And I believe this Wagoner kid that's in the 18 as well is a local boy that's shown real promise.
Taos, New Mexico.
Yes,
and he's a big target guy. So yes, both of these teams have made strides, not just putting in players in college, but also in the professional ranks.
Absolutely.
And obviously, it's not just that. You're constantly evaluating the roster. You made a new signing earlier this week, Jose Carrillo, obviously not available tonight, but hopefully if visas get in order, he'll be available the following. How do you do that in the middle of a season in terms of evaluating who's on your roster and then how you go forward with adding new players in season?
Aron, that'll be lifted out by Swartz.
That's a great question.
Apologies.
It's when Ander and Yuma both take injuries and both of them play center back, it's all of a sudden McHugh goes in. McHugh's been exceeded expectation in my opinion. I thought he would be good. I did not think he'd be this good this quickly. He's been unbelievable and a revelation a bit in the back. But we suddenly are very thin at center back then, and you've got we think that we can make a run at a title this year, and we have to believe that. And if we do that, we need depth and experience in the back. And Carrillo was available, and someone that fits the profile. And he's a great guy. Was able to spend some time with him when he got in, and we're really excited to get him. Hopefully, maybe not against Monterey Bay, but be ready for San Antonio as early as San Antonio. That's
the thing about it, as we get ready for the corner. Dennis Kostishin is back there to take the second of the night for Locomotive FC. It has been. So we'll wait here, first of all, for what transpires. Kostishin, a low driving kick. Lifted out easily by Swartz. Locomotive will have possession. It has been really cool to watch this Locomotive team kind of come together. But when you need to add pieces, everybody talks about the very top of the transfer market. We see the rumors about, the Liverpools and the Real Madrids and so forth. At this level, you can find a quality player to come and play American Second Division soccer, especially as it becomes more popular here.
Absolutely. I mean, everything's scalable, right? Liverpool and Real Madrid and everything is in the world's eye, but we're doing the same things. We're just doing it at our local level, right? And one other thing about Brian, that our head coach, that's unbelievable, is his network in Europe. We've brought in a number of European-based players this year, and Bensay and Pitar.
Here is a shot off the bar. Diaz, I think, got a piece of Bruce's shot. Bruce trying one from distance. Locomotive will go over the top. Lucho, some hold-up play as Locomotive releases the pressure. I'll be interested to see this. Daniel Bruce, the young Englishman. I think Benny gets just a piece as it dips.
I agree with you. I think he definitely got a piece of that, and thank goodness he did.
Locomotive FC averting disaster from the hands of their young keeper.
Gonna have to go kiss that post too at halftime or something.
Little help. But that is interesting. I mean, you know, everybody knows about the top level talent as Zacarias tries to leg this one out. Solid cover.
And while back to Carrillo, while he may be, he's a Spanish by nationality, but he played 6 years in Slovakia. You know, that's a hard league. That's a rough and tumble league. So I think, you know, this is a physical league. This is an aggressive league. This is a fast league and a strong league. So I think he'll fit in really well. He's, you know, these Spanish boys, you know, Yuma being the top of that, is not going to back down from anybody, and we don't expect Carrillo to either as a big center back expect him to be able to hold his own in this league, which again, the quality year over year, even in the 5 years we've existed, has gotten so much better, and that's not just us, but across the board. This league is really in a great position.
Speaking with Locomotive General Manager Andrew Forrest, this play continues here in the Derby del Camino Real. And it's interesting, you think of derby games or derby games, depending on your pronunciation, you think of teams that are in the same city or at least the same vicinity. There is 267 miles that separates these two cities.
I love that you know the exact distance, by the way.
I Googled it. It's Google.
Is that stadium to stadium, or is that to the coach's house? Where exactly is that too?
I don't know. I would hope city limit to city limit, but that would be interesting to know. But as they play that into space, it'll roll out, and New Mexico United will have its first corner. It is, I don't think there's another derby as we take a look at Benny Diaz's clutch save. That is absolutely critical. Needed the keeper there. I don't think there's another derby with as beautiful a drive from match to match as you have here.
I agree. There are certainly some other good rivalries in this league, but you know, with what this represents to these, as we talked about earlier in the conversation, to these two cities that are you know, underserved potentially and overlooked by a lot of the rest of the country, this is a great showcase to put on to show that our soccer is just as good as anybody's.
And we go back again to the Youth Academy products as it is Justin Portillo ready to take this corner. Portillo in swinging ball, that's by Kostashin. We'll do it again from the other side. But the Youth Academies for both teams are producing quality talent, and you're seeing not only kids go to college, but kids play professionally. We talk about the Ricardo Pepes, the Alex Endejas. There is talent in this area.
There is no doubt, and in the press conference, and this is kind of my running joke, is I always knew this would happen. I just didn't think it would happen in 1 year, in 2 years. I thought 5 years, 7 years down the line, we'd be producing kids for the first team and sending kids to college. But you know, under the direction and the full-time staff of the youth department, we've accelerated those timelines exponentially, and it's all for good.
Little discussion to cool things down. Elton Garcia.
Cavillo had to get his dad voice out. Your father.
This El Salvadorian teammate as well on the national team, Moreno.
True enough, Portillo. That's over everybody, but Navarro can't clear the danger. His fellow Spaniard Boar. Well done, Kostashin. Solid work to regain possession. Zacarias now. Ron Gomez knocked out for an El Paso throw. Our thanks once again to Andrew Forrest for joining us on the Derby del Camino Real. Always a special night for you. I know a very busy night for you, so thanks very much for taking a few minutes.
This was great. Again, great to be on here, great to be with you guys, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. Andrew Forrest, great to have him. And Colin, I think that one of the things about really both front offices for New Mexico United and El Paso Locomotive is they're well tended to by people who are passionate. They may not be from this area. I know that many are, but they certainly feel, I think, what people from El Paso and Albuquerque feel.
Certainly, like he was talking about, I mean, and you mentioned it too, the top flight of the world of soccer, everybody hears about those transfers, but the talent and the ability to kind of go around and find in the nooks and crannies of Slovenia and Ireland, players that can play at this level, and not just play at this level, but exceed and help you win a championship potentially. That's really hard. That's really hard to do, and the fact that both of these clubs in their history, short histories in 5 years, have been able to succeed in the USL Championship more often than not is certainly a testament to both those front offices.
Those players are out there, certainly. It's the world's game. Aaron Gomez loses, gains it back. And of course, the traveling supporters up in section 215. The curse for New Mexico. I know Black Diamonds also represented. Great to see our friends from Albuquerque and getting a hearty round of boos, of course, from 8th Notch here in section 105. About as far away from each other as you could possibly get, including the different decks.
Probably for the best, although it is no, they're friendly, I know.
Rachel Phillips, I know that you've been listening to the New Mexico fans chant a bit down on the pitch.
All I'm going to say is I think it's very smart that they placed the two teams as far away as they possibly could. But guys, I mean, you guys have been talking about the uniqueness of this rivalry, and it really is something special. You can just drive a few hours to go and watch your team play. And the Curse made sure to make a day out of it. They actually started up in the tailgate parking lot up at their stadium in Albuquerque and did a caravan with as many fans who wanted to drive down with them. They stopped off at a brewery in Las Cruces. Hopefully there were some designated drivers in that lot. And then they all came down to the game. I mean, that's special. You can't do that with too many teams that you play, and yet they get to do it here. And I mean, I'm sure for them, they're hoping they can get a rivalry win, but Locos and 8th Notch are hoping the opposite, of course.
Great ball by Popkovic. Great ball in by Navarro, taken down as Lucho. Appeals for penalty. Go unanswered. Moreno the switch. That's a great tackle by Liam Rose, but it is a foul in the back. And a card.
As we get a look at the replay here. Oh, man.
Wow.
Shove in the back there.
Sam Hamilton.
And Lucho ran right to our official referee tonight, Elton Garcia. I mean, stood up beeline right to him. Wasn't happy about it.
And receives a yellow card for his efforts. That'll bounce kindly. Almost mishandled by the New Mexico back line. Danger moments there for New Mexico, but a sure-footed effort by the team captain, Sam Hamilton. Daniel Bruce met by Diaz. End-to-end stuff here over the last minute.
I think if this game opens up more as it has just now, it favors Locomotive.
Trying to get it in, Lucho. Swartz wants a foul, he won't get one. Play continues, New Mexico United have possession. Portillo dribbling all the way through before McHugh. Leans in a foot, gives up the ball. Good spin here by Sergio Rivas. Over the top, flag is up. Wouldn't have counted had Moreno been able to control.
This is the old, almost like the old New Mexico United, the Kings of Chaos, as you coined a couple years back. Too.
Thank you, sir. No, I appreciate that. I saw that on a drum.
Did you really?
It's kind of flattering. Let's head down to Rachel Phillips for more. Rachel, things are heating up down there, and not just the temperature.
Yeah, certainly right. It is hot out here, but I think things are a little hotter when you're actually standing on the pitch right now. Aaron Gomez, just with that nice run and really creating an opportunity out of nothing. Really great to see him having so much confidence lately. That's really all coming off the back of the first goal he scored in nearly a calendar year. It came against San Antonio, and the last goal prior to that for Aaron was on July 9th of 2022. And for a guy that up until earlier this season was the all-time leading goal scorer, it's been a pretty dry spurt. He said that it was quite difficult to score because he hadn't been scoring, so to score in that manner and so unexpectedly helps him to keep working and sustain the trust of his team and the coaching staff to have him play up top, and he really just hopes he can add on to it. And already tonight we've seen him threatening on several opportunities, so expect him to continue much of the same.
Calvillo trying to heel one over to Lucho. It didn't quite work out. Good turn though by Liam Rose to spring the attack up the middle. Benny Diaz replacing his divot. Out along the left side. He'll bring it into Moreno. turns and fires straight into the ice.
Of course, Moreno made it onto the Sports Center top 10 with a bicycle kick goal last week in a win against Colorado Springs. Trying to do a similar thing there. That may have ended up on the Sports Center top 10 had that been successful, but fortunately for Locomotive, right into the hands of the waiting Benny Diaz, who has been a little bit busy the last 5 or so minutes.
A little busier than I think Brian Clairhout would like him to be. They'll continue to piece together things. A digging effort by Diaz, and of course, it is what it is. Brian Clairhout has been getting the attack. We should be nearing a play. I would think that there's going to be a hydration break. You would have to think. That is up to the discretion of Eldon Garcia. And if there is one, it would have to be soon. Really, honestly, it should happen at the 30th minute.
Yeah, usually in that 25 to 30 minute range, but
yeah. Trying to control that chaos is Moir. It doesn't work out. Diaz. And it's interesting, you talk about Chris Weehan being out, Josh Suggs, two of the main protagonists, if you're a Locomotive fan, for this New Mexico United team. But also, just so many quality players. I'm a little surprised Austin Yearwood is in the lineup. We'd heard that he might be in a bad way. But even missing stars, Eric Quill has things pretty composed for this New Mexico United team. They are not without their opportunities tonight.
Certainly not. Almost had one right there. McHugh there for the stop, and kind of having to piece things together both with the coaching staff and with the lineup on the field. You're right. United has looked pretty solid tonight.
Aaron Gomez, great work by Zacarias, and it'll deflect out. Tambakis will control it. Rachel Phillips, New Mexico United has had some teeth tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have. And look, I know the standings wouldn't show you this, but they've had some teeth all season. New Mexico have actually had the least amount of shots in the league with 140, but have converted on more than 16%, which sees them sit one behind the Locos with 23 goals. And you're probably thinking, okay, that doesn't sound like a massive conversion rate, but compare it to the Locos. They've had 205 shots with 64 on target and have just the 24 goals to show for it. So a massive difference there. It's only 12% that they're converting. So New Mexico United, when they get in a position to score, are really great at converting in front of goal. It's something the Locos need to work on in a game where really, as we know, one goal can make a world of a difference.
It certainly did June 3rd in Albuquerque. And it's Costas in on a beautiful pass in from the left wing by Eder Borelli.
And as good as United has been, as Rachel pointed out, with the efficiency in terms of taking advantage of the shots that they get and converting them into goals, they've also, big reason they are where they are in the West right now, they've given up the most goals in the Western Conference, 25 goals allowed to their name. So 23 that they've scored, 25 that they've allowed. Usually that means that you're going to have a losing record, which they have.
Switch it out here. Lucho wide on the left wing over these last few minutes. This pass a little off target. Liam Rose cleans it up. It's interesting to see Locomotive switch Lucho a lot further out on the left wing right now, and Borelli seems to be more withdrawn, at least in the back, and that will be a foul. All right. Knock in the back on Aaron Gomez.
Appeal for a yellow card, and it will be given to Kalen Ryden.
So Ryden earns the yellow in the 39th minute. Locomotive, of course, with a couple. Eric McHugh for that professional foul, as we were discussing things with Andrew Forrest, and Lucho for his protestations. But the 30-year-old from my hometown, Norman, Oklahoma, won a championship with Real Monarchs SLC in the 2019 season.
They, of course, beat Locomotive in the Western Conference Final to get to that USL Championship final. He was so crucial for that Monarchs team, has been key for United, of course, since coming over in 2020.
Defender of the Year twice in his last 2 seasons in Salt Lake City. Liam Rose. I would imagine one of the things Brian Clairhout would like to see is the passing be a little crisper.
A little bit of sloppiness from Locomotive in that stretch of play from about the 34th minute to the 38th, 39th minute. They want to definitely finish the half strong, and as you said, kind of pulling Lucho Soloniak out a little bit wider than maybe we normally see him, although he's there in the middle right now, just trying to use his talents in maybe some different ways is Locomotive tonight against a United team that knows Lucho Soloniak pretty well, having played against him a few times over the last few years.
Swartz will give up the corner as Zacarias sprung on that left wing side. Seems like everybody's taking a turn wide out left. We've seen, of course, Eder Borelli, who that's his space usually to serve things up. Zacarias, Lucho. There's been a rotation of players out, and they have had plenty of space to do their thing. It'll be the third corner of the night, and Kostashin.
That's Harry Swartz on that right side for New Mexico United, so certainly something they're seeing in terms of what they feel like they can attack down that sideline.
Seems to be where Locomotive has found much of its joy tonight. Calvillo, good switch. Kostashin. It's deflected out by Portillo. Looking on the far side for Pavkovic. Navarro will keep possession. And the Australian, Liam Rose, with the ball here. I know you've pointed out before the flags in the big dog house, or that area of the pitch, or that area of Southwest University Park, with all of the different nationalities who are a part of Locomotive FC. Argentina, Mexico, the United States, obviously well represented, but Spain as well. Here's Lucho. Pinged across. Aaron Gomez. Waited a little too long.
Well, certainly it's we talk about it all the time. I mean, it's the world's game for a reason, and Locomotive has always been a team that kind of has a more international flavor, it seems, than maybe other teams in the league. As many as 12 countries, I think, have been represented by this roster in years past.
Navarro, Kostashin. The Ukrainian out to Eder Borelli. Rose, New Mexico staying compact as Locomotive switches back and forth, left and right. It's a good spin by McHugh.
Big fella got some moves.
Showing him off here tonight. That'll be a foul as Kostashin draws the contact from Moreno, who begs the referee with the ball at his knees.
Total of 12 fouls now in this first half been called, Duke.
That sounds about right. It has been physical. On a warm evening, and if there's no hydration break in the first half, I doubt there will be in the second.
I need a hydration break up here.
I'm with you there. So they'll set up the direct kick. Can be a dangerous area depending on where this goes. Kostashin delivers it in, looking for the header. Brought down by Tambakis, the first time he's really been challenged tonight. But great break by Aaron Gomez. Wasn't able to steer that with his headsets. As you pointed out, only one goal this season. As we'll send it down to Rachel Phillips for more.
San Diego, Brian Clairhout.
For a corner kick off Borelli. Pleased for handball by Sergio Rivas, to no avail. Let's send it down to Rachel Phillips for more.
Yeah, Colin, spot on with how much Dennis likes to shoot. He actually has 40 attempts at goal this season, 3 goals to show for it, so the percentage isn't quite there. But like you said, when you're getting game winners, Brian Clairhout, Brian Clareheart wants them to just keep going for it. He actually has 12 more shots on goal than Lucho, who is leading the team with goals scored right now. That just goes to show you how much Dennis tries to shoot and tries to score, and hey, it pays off at times, and that's exactly why they want him to keep doing it, even if he gets a little bit of flack from his teammates for it.
He did tease in the post-game press conference. Portillo delivers a nice one in, but it's Lucho first to it. Locomotive covering things up, and that's going to be it for the first half of play. As the ball rolls out, 1 minute of stoppage time was all we got. That was pretty much the last play of the half. 0-0 at the break in the Derby del Camino Real. It's been end-to-end, looking for more in the second half as the temperature cools off outside. On the pitch, it's something different.
Your adventure is calling during the summer drive at Casa Ford. Gear up for the summer of a lifetime with thrill-seeking savings on a great selection of rugged trucks and SUVs. Your journey goes further when you shop at Casa Ford. Get 0% APR financing plus $1,000 customer cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Chart your course to Casa Ford during the summer drive going on now.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clarehout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody, to Southwest University Park. A shot of beautiful downtown El Paso on a warm summer's evening. As we say, the renovated Plaza Hotel, among others. 0-0 here at the break. Alongside Colin Deaver, I am Duke Keith, as Locomotive FC and New Mexico United both looking for the breakthrough. Let's take a check of the Western Conference standings going into tonight's match, as Locomotive FC and New Mexico United kind of at opposite ends of the Western Conference. Sacramento Republic, by the virtue of having played one more match, 32 points to pace the division. Locomotive second with 30, followed by Monterey Bay, San Antonio FC, Oakland, San Diego, Colorado Springs, and Phoenix. That's above the playoff line. New Mexico sitting 11th, but again, just their fourth match under new coach Eric Quill, and a big victory for them over Switchbacks FC last weekend in Albuquerque. 18 points, just a point away from 10th spot, and 9th spot held by Rio Grande Valley and Orange County. So not out of the realm of possibility. As elsewhere, we take a check of the power rankings. 6 weeks in a row, Locomotive FC number one in the league. 10 wins in their last 12 matches and 2 draws. One against a solid Tampa Bay Rowdies team. They've scored in each match since their season opener and are one of the best teams in goals conceded. You can read more all about that at USLChampionship.com. Also this week, Locomotive announcing the signing of Spanish defender Jose Carrillo, playing in the Irish Premier League along with Slovakia before that. And Locomotive Academy players, congratulations to the 5 players from the U20 Academy playing college soccer as they continue their education. Locomotive announced that earlier this week. Leo Aguirre Pele Armendariz attending the University of Incarnate Word in San Antonio. Miguel Fierro heading east to the College of Mount St. Vincent in New York. Emilio Rodriguez joins a former Academy teammate, Benny Calderon at West Texas A&M in Canyon. And Romel Tarin was on the Academy contract, actually on the bench for the first team in a couple of matches. That's to Taft College in California. Combined with last year's 10 graduates, El Paso Locomotive Academy, 15 former players now playing college after being a part of the Academy, and that's just in the last 2 years. Some outstanding work for Locomotive FC. Back with more right after this.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Tries to leave it there for Gleedle. Sam Gleedle, it's a tap-in for Christian Valesky. And Monterey Bay are absolutely flying tonight. Fomasoso, right through the middle, Johnny Rodriguez. Rodriguez scores! Something out of nothing for the Oakland Roots.
Full moon. Will we have some shenanigans with it here in El Paso? It's 0-0 at halftime between Locomotive FC and New Mexico United in the Derby del Camino Real. Let's take a look at the highlight of the first half, and it comes courtesy of Benny Diaz, the goalkeeper for Locomotive FC. Daniel Bruce from outside the 18. Fantastic attempt on goal, but it's Benny with the fingertip save. And he'll need to give that post a little bit of a smooch as well for the help in saving it. Otherwise, it would have been 1-0 New Mexico United at the break. Instead, it is scoreless here in the Sun City in the Derby del Camino Real as you get a good look at Sunset Heights, El Paso, and Juarez in the borderland. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes here on the broadcast.
Get your keys to adventure during the summer drive at Casa Nissan. Map out big savings when you start your journey in a new Titan, Pathfinder, or Rogue. Whether you're searching for the lost city or the biggest savings of the summer, your adventure begins at Casa Nissan.
Get 0% APR on a new Nissan Rogue or 0% financing for 60 months on a new Nissan Titan.
All roads lead to Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, you know, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody. Southwest University Park, 0-0 at the break. Duke Keith along with Colin Deaver as we take a look at first half stats here in the Derby del Camino Real, Locomotive FC and New Mexico United. And, of course, no goals, 3 shots, none really on target for Locomotive, 2 and 1 for New Mexico United. And passing accuracy about what you'd expect right now, though New Mexico United, the passing accuracy hasn't been what Locomotive has had, but they have found a way to have some venom in this first half.
No doubt about it. Obviously, we talked about it in the Open. United, in the first match between these two sides, they won the passing accuracy as well as the possession. And in this match so far, it's been Locomotive kind of dominating those statistics. The one shot on goal by New Mexico United, we showed it before the last break, that Daniel Bruce shot that Benny Diaz had to lay out full extension, use the fingertips and get a little help from the post as well to make the save. So very easily, despite the fact that Locomotive is winning the statistical matchup, it very easily could be 1-0 New Mexico despite all that.
That's right. It was the shot, really, that almost made a difference, but Benny Diaz kept it out of the back of the net. The Los Angelino doing a nice job. The 24-year-old, pretty heady for such a young age. 0-0 at the break. Back with some highlights and plenty more second half of the other side right after this.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, you know, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody. Downtown El Paso, lit up red, white, and blue in anticipation of the Independence Day holiday coming on Tuesday. Happy 4th of July and safe 4th of July to you and your family. Duke Keith and Colin Deaver with you. The Derby del Camino Real, Rachel Phillips on the pitch. We'll get with her in just a bit, but let's take a look at some of the highlights. And I'm a little astounded it's only 1 shot on goal listed. That technically is a shot on goal. I think maybe the quick deflection by Kalen Ryden. That is your shot on goal from Daniel Bruce, and really excellent keeping by both Benny Diaz and Alex Tambakis.
No doubt here, and here's Alex Tambakis here. We didn't get a replay of that Jose Aaron Gomez play in the first half. Could have been in at goal there, but it was Tambakis making the save, and then Benny Diaz once again coming up with the, I don't know if you call that a save, but certainly a clearance with the knees, and had to be here as well on the Amando Moreno shot.
What a nice turn on the top of the area. Lawad blazing one up and over the bar, but really I think Locomotive has at least 1 shot on net, especially with that Josue Aaron Gomez shot there. Just with the little chip, he got it there. Tambakis, though, on the spot for New Mexico United. Let's head down to the pitch and find Rachel Phillips for more on this first half and what we might be looking forward to for half number 2, Rachel.
Yeah, Duke and Colin, I think for the Locos a big thing, as we talked about in the first half, how much Dennis Costician likes to shoot. We really haven't seen any of that from him in that first half, so making sure he gets on the ball and is taking those opportunities. On top of that, I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like Manny Sinupe come on who has the speed and kind of open things up a little bit more, because the Locos, they're getting through, but they're just not able to find that shot. And the same can kind of be said for New Mexico United. They're getting through but unable to execute. So for both teams right now, it's about finding that final shot and putting it into the back of the net to take a lead here in this game.
Thanks very much, Rachel. I couldn't agree more. And Sanupe might be the man who makes a difference here with that great stretch over the top, the outstanding work that he makes just running onto the ball. The Englishman certainly has the pace to make a difference here tonight.
Yeah, and the last time out for Locomotive against Tampa Bay, he was fantastic. Chris Garcia was good in that match, obviously not in the lineup tonight for El Paso, but certainly we'll see some changes. Maybe a water break for these guys in the heat here as they.
We didn't when the sun was up. I don't know.
We were calling for it multiple times. They weren't thinking about us here and our need for a hydration break.
Tell you what, no respect.
And you've been doing
Why
this
wouldn't
for
you?
5 years, at minimum 5 years. We'll talk. How many years total for you?
Total.
Ooh. Do you want to say?
I will say that I've covered, and I began by covering the New Mexico Chiles with the Albuquerque Journal back in 1990. So since then, I covered New Mexico soccer for the Albuquerque Journal, 89 to 90. Worked with the El Paso Patriots pretty much over the course of their existence, from start to finish. So
you've been around the block a few times.
Yeah, a little bit. I will say that this press box, speaking of comfort for broadcasters, a little more comfortable than the school portable.
I would
the old
say
El
so.
Paso Patriots.
My favorite part of the fact that you called Patriots games, though, is that you called games played by Diego Barca's father when he played for the Patriots.
Jose Barca, that's right. Great ball out of the back. And here's Lucho. Lucho turns, and it's deflected. Yearwood gets a piece. Kostishin lofts one out of the back. Navarro turns and gets the deflection for another corner kick. The Spaniard flashing out.
I believe it was Navarro who had that first through ball up ahead to Lucho, bending it around the defender, as good as you will ever see.
Former La Liga and English Premier League veteran. Spanish connection only getting stronger with the signing of Jose Carrillo this last week for Locomotive. Here is the El Salvador international, Eric Calvillo. Kostishin showing in case they want to go short. Navarro out there as well. Calvillo to the far post. Headed out of trouble by Yearwood. Straight to Kostishin, tries to tie it up. We'll get it back. Tries to draw the foul. No foul called, and here's Moreno. Trying to catch Bruce on the break. Sorted out by the Aussie. Liam Rose. Zachariasen out of trouble.
Locomotive certainly keeping that pressure on early to start this second half. Maybe that was a point of emphasis in the locker room by Brian Clarehout.
Another up and over, looking for Lucho. Having to be handled by Wrighton, and where they went up the left wing in the first half quite a bit. It's up the right wing to start the second. Great cross by Kostishin to Gomez. Up top, a bit of a worm burner by Rose. Skitters harmlessly into Alex Tambakis' arms.
So very interesting, and if you look at the USL Championships, like game day match setup that they have on their website, they have a heat map where you can actually see almost like a forecast on the Weather Channel when they do this, like the serious thunderstorms.
Right.
That's almost what it looks like in this heat map. That left flank for Locomotive in the first half was red hot as they were attacking that flank. But this half, obviously, they're switching sides. They're still coming down the same sideline.
Up and over, Navarro. Lucho wants a handball on Wrighton. He won't get it.
Gonna have to see a replay there, but still sort of Duke attacking the same sideline, albeit different defender, but very interesting that is kind of where they're going this in this match against United.
3 long balls to start the second half by Navarro up that right wing. And they've all been on target.
With a guy like Lucho who can kind of run for days and get underneath them, not a bad idea.
Hamilton, good direct to Moreno. Switch it, Hurst out to the right wing, and Moab. Swartz to the team captain, Sam Hamilton. Portillo into space, Moreno from the byline. Easily grabbed by Benedias. And why not? Good work by Ryden as Diaz tried to find the outlet quickly to Lucho. I think Ryden's been watching some game tape of Benedias. Up and over the top, had to be parried away by Diaz. Out of the back. That's a solid effort from 30-plus yards. Portillo.
That would have been out of absolutely nowhere. And I think it caught Benny Diaz as much by surprise as it caught us by surprise.
Huge shot on goal, and it will result in a corner for New Mexico United. Portillo, 29 years old, out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Tough shot for the man from the Big Easy, but Benedias again.
He's had to be there a few times for Locomotive tonight.
And it'll be Portillo to take the corner. Low driver. Up top, Moar deflected by Lucho, and the break is on. Kostashin trying to control. Lucho last ditch. Or pardon me, Moar last ditch. Kostashin's taken down, and that's going to be a yellow card on Daniel Bruce.
Maybe a little bit of a professional foul, as they say, for Daniel Bruce. That was going to be a 3-on-1 for Locomotive if Kostashin had been able to make the pass that he wanted to. And you just take the foul there, you take your yellow card, and live to see another day.
There seem to be enough players up the pitch that it's not a straight red, because denial of the goal-scoring opportunity would see Bruce off into the locker room, but it was certainly worthy of the caution. And just about at the point where he had to make the foul when he did. Followed about 35 yards off the byline.
Kostashin had that solid free kick for Gomez at his feet in the first half. Similar spot here now in the second half. We'll see what they do with it.
Calvillo lofts one over into the area. Lucho trying to tow it down, attempting to control, but Moreno makes sure it goes nowhere. Navarro. Moreno, great moves to clear some space through Aron Gomez and Navarro. Kept moving by Moar. Rivas over Moreno. Bruce, great work by the Spaniard again. Navarro, they'll give up a corner. End-to-end action to begin this second half here today.
Locomotive obviously numbers forward with the free kick. Everyone doing a great job tracking back, and it's Liam Rose there, Navarro on Bruce. Team effort on that play to avoid the goal.
Portillo on to take that corner again. Was also a member of that Real Monarchs Salt Lake Championship, along with Kalen Ryden. Driver to the far post, headed cleanly by McHugh. Kostashin can't get it up and out of trouble. Here's Moar. From the byline, the long loft over. Navarro with the header out. Kostashin, nice move with Bruce on him. Bruce is going to win that battle. Daniel Bruce, the Englishman. Kostashin will knock it out for another corner. No, off of Bruce, it's a goal kick. Actually, they're going to whistle a foul just outside of the area. The foul, I thought he was pointing toward the byline for a goal kick. The foul is on.
Yes. Getting a look at the replay, certainly a leg up there by Dennis Kostashin, getting a little bit of contact, and given the placement of where the foul was called, fortunate it's not a penalty kick.
About 3 feet away from disaster for Locomotive FC. Certainly in a dangerous spot. And it will be Justin Portillo. In close quarters. Whistle blows. Portillo wanting a different setup in the area. Right-footed delivery, low drive, and off Calvillo for a throw. Tried to slip it under Calvillo, having none of it.
I don't know. I just think that's a tough place to take a free kick from. I don't think I've ever seen somebody have to do it.
Substitutions coming up, and from Rachel Phillips' mouth to God's ears, Emmanuel Sanupe about ready to check in. It's a long switch and a good switch to Swartz. Give and go to Swartz from Awar. Swartz round across Moreno. Looking for the foul. Mark Navarro wants the young man to get up. We'll have our substitution. Let's take a look at this cross again.
Good service through, just nobody could get a foot on it. Solid defending from Locomotive to prevent it, as it'll be, looks like Ricardo Zacarias coming off, Sanupe coming on.
So Ricardo Zacarias, the young man from Las Cruces, solid effort in his return to the starting lineup. Emma Sanupe coming on in the 57th minute officially. Locomotive has floated a couple over the top. Certainly with Lucha and Sanupe out there, you can expect to see a little more of that.
And certainly the pace that Sanupe plays with, just a little bit more than Zacarias. And as Locomotive has seemingly tried to play a little bit more direct in the second half, as you said, Duke, maybe that's something that they can take advantage of with Sanupe.
Portillo will switch it to Hamilton. Nowhere to go for Swartz, so back to Portillo, over the top to Bruce. Flag is up.
And as we saw, both teams, a little bit of back and forth in that first half, but settling in more so, and you really see Locomotive try to take the first punch right out of the gates of the locker room, but New Mexico United, to their credit, has been game to the challenge and has come right back in the last couple of minutes with some solid chances of their own.
The USL on ESPN continues as the summer heats up. Memphis 901 FC and Aaron Malloy hailing to the Valley of the Sun to face Manuel Arteaga and Phoenix Rising FC. Rising FC and Memphis 901. 7 p.m. Mountain on ESPN2. McHugh. Calvillo taken down, no foul called. It's a good effort by Hurst, who keeps the ball. Here's Hurst. The dip over to Bruce. The shot turned aside by the US. They'll roll it out for a corner kick.
Daniel Bruce is going to be seeing Benny Diaz in his dreams tonight. That's a pretty solid opportunity for Daniel Bruce to get a goal. Obviously had the one in the first half that Diaz denied off the post too.
Bruce out of Warrington, England, the 25-year-old. Earns New Mexico another corner kick, though. It'll be Portillo over to take it. Young Englishman has been part of that New Mexico lineup since the very beginning. There are a bunch of guys, really, for both teams. But United maybe a little more in terms of the Sam Hamiltons. Austin Yearwood up and over the top. Lifted down, trying to control. United and Hurst. It's deflected off Calvillo, and another corner coming.
It's 5 or 6, I think, for United that have been with the club the entire time. A guy like Chris Wehan, obviously not playing tonight with a broken kneecap, took 1 year off from playing for United, went to Orange County and then came back. Of course, played for the New Mexico Lobos collegiately, so they've certainly developed and fostered a kind of a family, a hometown type feel up at New Mexico United, as has Locomotive with Yuma, guys like Chapa Herrera and Josue Aron Gomez as well.
Josue Aron Gomez coming over from FC Juarez Bravos, along with Eder Borelli. Man who captains Locomotive FC tonight in Borelli, former team captain for Locomotive sister squad. As again Portillo, 6th corner of the night for New Mexico United. Far post delivery, away from everybody.
He has taken his time really on all of these corner kicks that they've had in the second half. Again, no hydration break in the first half. Maybe just giving his guys a chance to rest up a little bit in this heat.
Well, he's had a lot of work, a lot of corners there over the last few minutes for United.
About 3, maybe, is it 4? Is it 3?
At least 3. It's probably 4.
Counting is hard, Duke.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, especially in this heat.
Yes, yes. We've got it rough up here.
Right. We need the hydration break. Again, though, going back to that old Patriots portable, and we'll get down to Rachel Phillips here shortly. My favorite part of that was discovering that when the Patriots got a scoreboard, they all ran through the same electrical outlet as the air conditioning unit, the wall unit air conditioner. So the scoreboard would bleep out, and we kept wondering what was going on until we realized we have to turn off the air conditioner to have a scoreboard. That made for some fun summer times.
And I'm sure you prioritized the scoreboard, did you not?
We had to,
yep.
At least during the matches. Halftime and pregame, believe me, that scoreboard was turned off. Little better scoreboard here at Southwest University Park. Replaced this year, as a matter of fact. Beautiful display. See it in the daylight, which is the point of this kind of thing.
Sure, not to disparage the old one, but this ballpark now 10 years old. And certainly need to add one.
Flag is up on Emma Sanupe as they first targeted him. Let's send it down to Rachel Phillips for more on Daniel Bruce, who has had quite a game so far tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Duke. And Colin, you said he's going to be seeing Benny Diaz in his dreams. I think it's more his nightmares. A few prime opportunities in Benny Diaz coming up clutch in each of them. Bruce trying to go for 3 straight goals in 3 straight games here. And super interestingly, he's primarily played in the midfield under Zach Prince, but has been used more as a forward under Quill, which has seen him score 2 goals in the 3 games and have an assist. He said he played as a forward growing up, and it's been really fun playing back up there and able to really feel free to express himself, and he's been doing a lot of that tonight. Probably not as much as he wants. If he would have got a goal, he might have been able to put on a nice celebration there, but instead stayed tied here 0-0 with Benny Diaz coming up clutch.
He has done a solid job tonight. He's been the danger man, really, more so than Mawada, I think, who's the guy that they'd really love to get loose, but that just has not happened for New Mexico United. Daniel Bruce has had some real shots with venom, none more so than that forcing that huge save from Benny Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, talk about guys who typically have been goal scorers for them. It's Moreno, it's Sergio Rivas, who again 4 each. But you're right, it's been Bruce, and maybe that's a tactical change by United tonight, by Eric Quill, to get him going a little bit, or maybe just how the match has been playing out for New Mexico United.
Here is Navarro, gets that one deflected off of Yearwood. And Bruce will control. Tries to get around Pavkovic, the Hungarian having nothing of it. None of that.
The silent assassin, Brian Clarehow calls Bensay. I think you said it on the Seriously Loco podcast, and by the way, that was fantastic. If you haven't listened to it, go take a listen to Duke talking about his broadcast career, and as well as Locomotive FC. But speaking about central defenders like Bensay Pavkovic, you only notice them usually when they make a mistake, and he doesn't make that many mistakes, therefore you don't notice him back there. But he has been fantastic for Locomotive this year. As you said, Brian Clarehout calls him the silent assassin. I love that nickname.
If you're noticing your defenders, they're either in action too much or a mistake is being made. It gets away from Navarro. Good turn by the Spaniard, but excellent work by Moreno to grab that and try to start the break. That will be a foul. Rachel Phillips with more on Bense Pavkovic. Rachel, he's had himself a nice quiet night, but that's a good night for Locomotive FC.
It certainly is, Duke. I'm sure Brian Clarehout's pretty happy that we haven't said Bense's name too much. Probably don't want to speak about him too much either. Don't want to jinx history right here. But he's been playing since he was 18 years old in a professional format. And Brian said that's really where you can see his touch on the ball here because he brings that professionalism with him. He's spent his entire life in Hungary, where his dad is actually the mayor of his hometown. And he was playing in the first division over there, but decided to switch things up.
Here's Sinupe. He'll have a go. That deflects off of Ryden. And where will it fall?
Nice roll there for Locomotive FC.
Kostishin trying to fire up the crowd. We'll get back to Rachel to complete that thought in a bit. Kostishin, fifth corner of the evening for Locomotive. Slow roller, and it almost rolls for Navarro, right at the edge of the 6. Will be flicked out by New Mexico United for a Locomotive throw.
A little cheeky there from Denis Kostishin rolling it in.
They'll switch it out to the Ukrainian once again. Nice touch to settle. Trying to turn. That gets away from Calvillo. It'll be controlled by Liam Rose. We'll see how this opportunity pans out for Locomotive. We're hearing Miles Lyons is about ready to enter the match. Throw for Locomotive FC. Gomez. Fronted by Swartz. Double team. That's a solid sliding tackle by Borelli to gain possession off of Moar. Working in tight. It'll be a United throw. Let's let Rachel complete her thoughts on the silent assassin, Bense Pavkovic.
I saw Manny on a run and I was like, I should probably stop talking here. This is a good chance for the Locos. Yeah, but so Bense grew up in Hungary, played his entire professional career there. This year he decided, I'm going to make a change. And he said, honestly, it's probably been the best thing he's ever done because he feels like he's playing his best football ever. Obviously, we don't have anything to compare it to because we never saw him play in Hungary. But if he's saying that about himself, it's got to say something. And Brian really echoes how good Bense is doing in this team. He said he doesn't really have to tell him anything. He says one thing to him and Bense says, okay, sir, I'll do it. And he goes out and does it. And he said it's really been a great partnership for young Eric McHugh to have someone like Bense next to him who has so much experience and can really fill that void. And that's why we're seeing such a dominant pairing in that back two with the center backs of Bense and Eric McHugh.
Thanks very much for that. Yes, indeed. He's been doing a great job. United here. Good takeaway. Solid work by Ribas. Molar lifting in service. It'll find Moreno, but he can't control the touch.
If your dad's the mayor of a town, what can you do? You can't have any fun. You don't get away with anything.
I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like a large city, you know, but if it's a small town or just a smaller area, I don't imagine you can get away with anything.
My high school history teacher, who was not my father, but he was the mayor of our town for about 4 years, Durango, Colorado. Shout out to Dale Garland, definitely not listening. But you just struggle to, if I get in trouble with my history teacher in class, like, will it somehow affect my parents' taxes at some point? Who knows? You don't know.
Colin, maybe that's why Bense moved all the way to El Paso, because he knew he couldn't get into any trouble.
Have something there.
Got a point.
Well said. Moreno. Good work by Rose. Oh, Moreno. That's a dangerous tackle from behind. And now tempers spilling over.
Hurst and Borelli getting into it. That's your captain for Locomotive getting involved.
Navarro as well. Moreno, really a very cynical challenge.
Certainly we've discussed how fiery this rivalry can get. And you see it there, Eric McHugh getting involved. Eric McHugh is actually motioning to the crowd to cheer on Liam Rose as he stood up.
Well, Moreno certainly deserving of the booking. And Locomotive will make its change here as Mark Navarro, the Spaniard, will exit here in the 71st minute for Miles Lyons. We speak about Youth Academy development, not only for United, not only for Locomotive FC, but also Locomotive FC's connection with the Barca Residency Academy, which is where Ivan Militar, who's the Youth Academy director, came from. It's been excellent, and Miles Lyons is a perfect example of that.
How he has developed over the last couple of years since coming over. When he first arrived, I think 16, 17 years old. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time with the senior club, but has really developed into such a nice role for them. And of course, like you said, that Barcelona Residency Academy bore the fruits of Diego Luna to come to Locomotive FC. He just scored his first goal in his MLS career a couple weeks ago for Real Salt Lake, so congratulations to him.
First of many, we certainly hope. Lions' first touch doesn't go the way he wants it to. Pavkovic sending it long over the top. Out for a Locomotive throw. Rachel Phillips with more on Miles Lyons.
Yeah, Duke, in the preseason, when you talk to players, coaches, and you ask them who's really impressing you right now, it was Miles Lyons. Everyone was talking about how much he developed in the off-season, really with his decision-making and his aggressiveness, and you're seeing that week in and week out. And he said it's been awesome to learn from someone with so much experience.
Kostashin. Easy grab for Tambakis in the end.
I feel like every time I talk right now, we've got nearly a shot on goal. Should I just keep talking for the rest of the broadcast and maybe they'll get one in?
There we go.
But no, he said, Miles Lyons has really shown so much development and he's learning a lot from Mark Navarro. And what a guy to learn from, someone who's been doing it for so many years at a top league. It's really kind of a dream come true for someone like Miles, and he wants to learn as much as he can because he told me he just wants to follow in the footsteps of Diego Luna, who obviously was at that exact same academy, and now look at him playing in the MLS for Real Salt Lake, getting his first goal just a couple of weeks ago, and obviously, of course, scoring for the US in the under-20 side a couple of weeks prior to that also.
Things kind of slowing down as we enter the 73rd. Again, there have been no hydration breaks.
I was about to say,
rather surprising.
I was about to say, is it because they need a hydration break?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Chicken before the egg? I don't know. It's... MJ's secret stuff, perhaps? Dennis Castitian's secret stuff?
Uh-oh. I hesitate to ask what the secret stuff might be. That's actually a great pass by Lyons to get Aron Gomez, trying to make it through. The side effort is off the side of the net. Lucho. Fans think it's a goal. That was a bit deceptive. It was touched on the way out. It will be a corner kick. Just that close.
Beautiful setup. Good defending there by New Mexico United. Sam Hamilton to first deflect it out of Aron Gomez's feet and then deflect the shot by Lucho, but a corner kick for Locomotive all the same.
Kostashin in swinger from the left foot, grabbed by Tambakis a little too close to the big Greek.
Interesting to note here, Duke, in this series between New Mexico United and El Paso Locomotive FC, the home team has not won a match in this series since 2020. That was the playoff game here during the COVID season that went to a penalty shootout. The road team has either won or it has been a draw since 2020. And in fact, the home team actually hasn't even gotten a draw since the 2021 season. So very interesting that neither side, though they are usually very solid at home, outside of this rivalry, haven't been able to defend the home turf maybe as well as they would like.
And here comes United. That's a great piece of defending by Borelli. Forces the reset. Boar to Swartz and to Hamilton. Eric Quill in his 4th match in charge here for New Mexico United. Ryan Clairhout, of course, has Locomotive at 30 points. 12 unbeaten, which has never happened in the history of this team. You talk about Eric Quill, the former head coach for North Texas SC of League One during the pandemic season and before, which would make him the head coach of Ricardo Pepi in the FC Dallas organization when Pepi was coming up through FCD.
Ricardo Pepi, of course, in town right now, played an Aaron Jones charity softball game here at Southwest University Park on Thursday. Had a chance to catch up with him. Tambakis actually having to do something with that one there.
Benny Diaz trying to chip the keeper, which would be amazing to see. But Tambakis had that one well done, well tended to.
But how about Eric Quill? I mean, getting a chance to see a young Ricardo Pepi, certainly after he comes over from San Elizario to the FC Dallas Academy out there, and then, of course, playing in USL League One for Eric Quill. It's certainly, I'm sure, cool for him to see how the El Pasoan Ricardo Pepi has seen his career grow, and we'll be getting a pretty solid opportunity with a well-known club in the Netherlands coming up soon.
Indeed, great effort for Pepi and Augsburg, but will stay in the Netherlands and be playing at the top level. Augsburg has always had its problems, and we knew Ricardo Pepi was going to be short for that team. 8,411 is tonight's attendance. That is the largest crowd for a Locomotive match ever.
The atmosphere has been fantastic. Again, lots of United fans on hand as well, making the trip down from Albuquerque. Maybe from not as far north as that, maybe Las Cruces, but great to see both fan bases coming together and the city of El Paso showing out.
Sanupe, nice chest trap to control. Of course, Ricardo Pepi, PSV Eindhoven bound. All the best to the El Paso, and of course, that'll bounce. Aaron Gomez sliced it off the side of his foot. Scalvillo tried to settle it, just didn't bounce properly for Gomez. Here is Bruce. Bruce taken down and will draw the contact and a foul and a free kick. So we send it down to Rachel Phillips. It's been a fun crowd tonight, certainly. 8,400 plus.
It has been a lot of fun. I've had to turn you guys up a little louder in my ears just to make sure I could hear what's going on tonight, because this crowd is loud and they are passionate on rivalry night. Just 2 Saturdays ago, they had a crowd of 8,121. That was the largest of the season. Now we've got the largest in club history. Brian, after that game, said he's just loving the support they're getting from the crowd and is just really enjoying how much the fans can push these guys over the edge in tough games. Hopefully a little extra in these closing minutes, and he hopes El Paso is proud of them. And I think with tonight's turnout, you could certainly say El Paso is proud of this Locomotive team, looking to move to 5 games undefeated at home this season, and they're on the precipice of just that, but a pivotal opportunity right here for New Mexico.
Justin Portillo. United has yet to make a change in this match. Locomotive has made 2. Portillo to the far post and no one.
Portillo on the corner kicks, and then that free kick just...
He looks a little tired, frankly.
Yeah. His hydration break. But yeah, no success for United on those free kick and corner kick opportunities thus far. Their open run of play is obviously where they've been able to develop their most potent opportunities tonight.
Speaking of, Greg Hurst. Moreno. It's off Castician for a throw. In short for Rivas. Portillo. Over to Yearwood. Yearwood crossing in, flicked in for the goal. Moreno. But the flag is up. It will not count. Wow. Locomotive trying to restart that quickly. Lucho. Dummies enough. Gomez trying to make a sprawling pass back to Lucho. It'll be controlled by Sanupa. Quickly on the counter. Kostishin rolling to Lyons in space. Lyons, the deflection by Yearwood, and it'll be out for a throw.
A stroke of brilliance, really, from Armando Moreno on that flick on, but a stroke of luck for Locomotive to have him be just offsides. Take a look at this.
That looks just right. And Moreno, there was a reason he was able to get to the ball first. A step, maybe a half step ahead of the back line. And a sublime finish by the other El Salvador international on the pitch tonight. That will not count. Pavkovic.
Of course, Moreno made the Sports Center top 10 with that bicycle kick goal last week, which we talked about. And that was quite the finish there, but offsides all the same.
It stays 0-0 as we are about to enter the 82nd minute here in the Derby del Camino Real. We've certainly seen some end-to-end stuff, but neither team able to finally solve the other. Here's Yearwood.
So often you see that in rivalry games across any sport. You just kind of throw out the record books.
Derby matches especially. The flag is up on that last pass to Moreno. And we will have our substitution, third substitution of the night for Locomotive FC. It'll be Nick Hines, the Floridian, in for Eder Borelli.
Borelli putting in a solid shift once again for for El Paso Locomotive FC.
Hands the captain's armband to Eric Calvillo. And United about ready to make its first substitution. Armando Moreno will be done for the evening. Nicky Hernandez ready to come and replace him. 23-year-old out of Anaheim, California. Moreno leading the team with 4 goals. They're taking that off the pitch.
Nicky Hernandez has not really played much of a role for New Mexico United lately. We're rolling through their matches pregame because this is the first time in at least 6 or 7 that he's even been available to play off the bench, and sure enough, he is.
Daniel Bruce will try to chip Diaz over the bar. Averting disaster there. Diaz caught out, but Bruce can't steer it on frame. And here is Hines, first touches to Sanupe.
Certainly, we've discussed frequently how comfortable Benny Diaz is kind of coming off his line, playing it with his feet. Something like that is the reason it can be a little bit dangerous, but Locomotive FC averting disaster.
Sanupe trying to curl one in. That has to be ripped out by Yearwood for a corner kick. Tom Backus giving his defender a high five for his efforts. And we have another sub for United. Oh, this is the sub. Moreno setting up for the corner, doesn't want to come out yet, but it's been signaled. I guess they'll let him wait. Kostishin in, driving. Lifted out by United. Lyons. Kostishin. Liam Rose trying to find Lucho over the top. And Aron Gomez. Locomotive will maintain possession, but reset from the back.
Moreno, of course, the man that's about to come off the pitch. And on that play right there, if we talk about Aron Gomez, the Energizer Bunny, never running out of energy. In a late game moment, just winning the ball against a player that's a little bit out of breath.
The cross doesn't go where Kostishin wanted it to. Allows New Mexico United to come away with possession. Kostishin chasing Bruce backward with the ball. Here's Portillo. Backing around to Sam Hamilton. Trying to loft one over the top. Moreno will not get there in time, so he's still on the pitch. How long ago did we call that sub? It seemed like it was ready to happen, but then it didn't.
About 3 minutes at least. They let him stay in for the corner kick as well after putting the number up even on the board.
Play continues. Pavkovic. Calvillo back to Rose. Clipped and intercepting is Moar. Moar earns the free kick. Little shirt pull. And a caution coming here for Pavkovic. So we send it down to Rachel, though New Mexico United only has 36% of the ball, Rachel. They've been very comfortable tonight.
Yeah, they've certainly lifted to the occasion, Duke, and it's not really that surprising. Yes, it's the rivalry, but in Eric Quill's second game at the helm, they lost 3-1 to Phoenix. That was last Wednesday night, and Quill sat them all down after the game and said, we're not a 10th place team, and we have a lot of life in us to make a run at this thing, and there's a lot of season left to play, so we cannot run at this thing. We cannot just sit here and go into a shell and feel sorry for ourselves. He challenged each player and each coach to reflect on who they were and what they did that day and how they grow from it. Just 72 hours later, they got their first win under Quill and handed him the game ball. Building off that win is top of mind tonight for New Mexico, and they're certainly showing they've got exactly what they need to do it.
Portillo again over the ball. Designated set piece taker. Has lacked a little punch, but things can change in an instant. So we close into the 88th minute. Lofted over the bar. McHugh, nice header, but straight to Moar, and he just missed it. Whistled about 2 inches wide of the right post.
I thought maybe Benny Diaz had to get a hand on that, and just a fingertip, but clearly not. What a attempt from Santi Moar. That is not easy to do, to get your foot on it and keep it under control. Frequently you'll see guys hit that off into the center field bleachers.
Right.
But he got a hold of it.
McHugh earns a foul here from Nicky Hernandez. So we take a look. We'll come back to that. Here's Nick Hines. McHugh wants to look long, but whatever Locomotive started with in the second half has not returned, at least insofar as opportunities. Credit New Mexico United perhaps making adjustments. Kostishin taken down, and off to the races. It's Rivas. Rolls it into space to stay onside. Ready to go. It's Hernandez. Rolls over and Moab scores. This one will count in the 89th minute. New Mexico United. Shades of Matt Boehner. A tarps off moment for the Spaniard Santi Moar here at Southwest University Park.
Runs over to the United fan club, the curse up there in section 215, 216 to show off. It is the substitute, Nicky Hernandez, coming on, and he will get the assist. Santi Moar, his second goal of the season for New Mexico United. Duke, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, how he hasn't necessarily had the first half to the season in his return to United that he might have wanted to, but that all washed away right now as he has what would right now be the game-winning goal in the derby as Locomotive FC is tending to an injured player around midfield.
The turnover in midfield setting the counterattack in motion. New Mexico opportunistic, and you've got to say, it seems like the return of the Kings of Chaos here tonight in El Paso. Downstairs to Rachel for more on the goal.
Yeah, guys, I've never seen a bench erupt like that. A 90th minute goal from New Mexico United sent this place into a frenzy, at least the top corner of Southwest University Park. You mentioned Nicky Hernandez in that goal, and he was honestly only just signed this week on a 25-day deal with New Mexico. You talk about coaches knowing what they need and bringing them in at the right time, and that is a prime example of it right there.
No hydration breaks, no problem. Enough momentum to carry you 263 miles north back to Albuquerque, that's for sure.
Right.
We will have the stoppage time announcement here shortly.
First of all, 5 minutes for stoppage time. Dennis Castician was the injured player, got up walking off the field and waiting to be motioned back on by Elton Garcia.
Castician finally waved back on. And we will get a substitution. Milo Garvanian in for Santi Mawar, who will get his curtain call moment for the fans in section 215 tonight. Just his second goal of the season, but hugely important goal for New Mexico United and Locomotive. We'll need to find some answers in about 4.5 minutes.
And we mentioned the home team has not even gotten a point in this derby since 2021. So far, New Mexico holding serve in that regard.
Hines to the byline. Lofted out by Swartz. Danger not cleared. Castician. Locomotive trying to control, but it will bounce United's way. Taken down is Hernandez. Play on. Kept in motion by, or kept in play by Aaron Gomez. Calvillo to Hines. Calvillo attempting the back heel. It doesn't go the way he wants it to. Can't keep it in play. Santi Mawar wasn't here when Matt Boehner had his tarps off moment in Albuquerque 2 seasons ago, but I guess he's heard the story.
I would imagine he has, and not in the way that Locomotive fans talk about it.
High bounce, Castician lofting one to the far post. Tambakis important against the grain. Tambakis having to come over and nod that one out or just touch it wide.
Slow roller, but there was so much traffic in the box. I don't even think he saw it until it was upon him.
Over the top. Bruce will head that out of trouble. Rose disappointed with his service. Midway through the 5 added minutes. Perhaps a little more based on the substitution that is up to Elton Garcia. Diaz off his line. Locomotive's 12-match unbeaten run in danger of being ended here at home. Calvillo will have a go, deflected. Castician trying to get around Garcia to get there. Rose, we play on. Doing what he could on Nicky Hernandez.
A coming together, as they say.
I guess so. And nothing called.
Obviously, United making that substitution to get an extra defender in for the final 5 minutes.
Hines. Calvillo over the top again. Aaron Gomez. Lifted out of trouble. Kostishin. Calvillo back from Lucho. Lucho along that left wing side. Not necessarily where you want to see him touch the ball, but they're doing whatever they can. Hines waiting for that. It'll bounce for Hamilton. Cleared away by Bruce and into touch. Seconds remaining in this one. Trying to get it to Kostishin was Bobkovich with a chest trap. It'll come to Sanupe. It's been held largely in check since coming on for Locomotive. Almost mishandled. Lions has to retreat. Good pressure applied by Garbanian.
That's what he was brought on to do for Moar.
Out of the back, Diaz. Last chance for Locomotive. Liam Rose rolls one far post and just wide. Goal kick. And might that be the last kick of the match?
Certainly seemed like Rose was feeling a little bit of the pressure, knowing that they were up against the clock there. A decent effort from distance, and there you go.
And that is it. New Mexico United with a massive win to end Locomotive's 12-match unbeaten run here in El Paso at Southwest University Park. A huge goal from the Spaniard Santi Moar. And the fans from the Curse will head home happy from El Paso, Texas tonight.
And now that's 2 wins in a row for New Mexico United, the 11th place team in the Western Conference. A victory over Colorado Springs last week, now a derby win. Maybe this can propel them. Locomotive FC will have to bounce back next week.
Trying to find answers in a warm evening in El Paso, but it's the visitors from Albuquerque who will walk away with a full 3 points.
Welcome to the 2023 Coaches Show. Joining me to my left, head coach for El Paso Locomotive FC and technical director, Brian Clairhout.
I'm all for celebrating W's. I think that's where I wake up in the morning, you know, to celebrate W's.
Welcome back, everybody. A stunned 8,400 plus here at Southwest University Park, the largest crowd to watch a Locomotive match, most of whom will go home unhappy as New Mexico United 1-0 winners over Locomotive FC. Duke Keith Colin Deaver with you. Let's move into the next match presented by the Brian Birds home selling team. El Paso heading west to Monterey Bay next week, and players and coaches will tell you that is the only game that matters, the next one. But for us Locos fans, the next home match is a big one, July 12th against the defending champion San Antonio FC. That is big in more ways than one.
Absolutely, and it starts again, like you said, on the road at Monterey. You have to regroup after losing at home, their 4th loss of the season, all of them coming here at Southwest University Park, and it snaps the 12-match unbeaten streak. Of course, only halfway through the season, still plenty of time for El Paso to regroup, but can't wait for July 12th when San Antonio is here.
Good old Copa Tejas showdown. Let's head down to Rachel Phillips with our Estrella of the match. Rachel.
Locos fans, I am joined by your estrella of the match, Benny Diaz. Benny, I know this wasn't the way you wanted this game to go, but still a really hard-fought battle. 4 saves from yourself. I mean, just talk about how intense this rivalry is out here with New Mexico United.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the fans that came to support us. You know, not the result we wanted. New Mexico came and played their part. You know, congratulations to them. You know, it's a rivalry match, so it's more intense, like you said, and nobody likes to lose these games.
You talk about the crowd. I want to say thank you to them. 8,411, the most we've ever had here in the stadium for a Locos match. What does that mean to you to have these guys continuously come out and support you?
You know, I'm very thankful to be a part of this. You know, like you said, it's a record attendance. I hope we have more games and more fans coming out later on in the season, and we hope to go more matches that they're going to be happy about, more wins, you know?
Benny, thanks so much, and sorry about the loss, mate. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Rachel. 1-0, and I know Benny Diaz is disappointed, but not for his lack of effort, certainly. It was a solid goal by Santi Mawar, sent in motion by a guy that neither one of us thought would be on the roster tonight, Nicky Hamilton, but he gets it done.
Absolutely. We honestly were joking pre-match that he probably wasn't going to play. Lo and behold, he comes on and almost immediately gets the winning assist for New Mexico United, and as Rachel said a little bit earlier, a new acquisition for them, so he may end up being a key player for them moving forward through the season as they try to climb up the standings. 2 in a row for New Mexico United. New Mexico ending Locomotive's 12-match unbeaten run. For our producer and director, Juan Gutierrez, for Rachel Phillips and Colin Deaver, I am Duke Keith. The final score once again, it is New Mexico United 1, Locomotive FC 0. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.